Did you know that the first woman to become a self-made millionaire in the United States had a rough road from rags to riches? Hi everyone, Ken here. Today we are exploring Villa Luero in Irvington, New York. Make sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode of This House. After Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, Sarah Breedlove was the first free person to be born in her family. Her parents had labored their entire lives as slaves near Delta, Louisiana, and when they were finally freed, they did not even have a single penny to their names. Sarah got a rough start to life, which became even worse as she began to grow up. First, her mother died when she was only 6 years old, then her father passed away the following year. By the age of 7, she was an orphan. For 3 long years, she had to fend for herself while most children attended school, until the age of 10 when her sister and brother-in-law living in Vicksburg, Mississippi took her in. She worked full-time as a domestic servant, never getting to enjoy her childhood, saving up for the day she could move out. All the while, Sarah was being abused by her brother-in-law. Desperate to get out of this situation, she accepted a marriage proposal from a much older man when she was only 14. Her husband passed away by the time she was 20 years old, but not after first having a child named Alelo with him. Now with a toddler to take care of, Sarah knew she had to make more money, but there just wasn't much opportunity in Mississippi. She heard that she had a couple of brothers in St. Louis who were barbers by trade, so she decided to reach out to them, hoping there was more opportunity there, and she would not be disappointed. At this time, St. Louis was the 4th largest city in the US. It was a thriving metropolis with jobs Sarah never even knew existed. Upon arriving in the big city, Sarah was given a job at a laundromat making $1 per day, or the modern-day equivalent of about $31 per day, which was more than she had ever made, but still hardly enough money to feed her baby. Just as she was beginning to adjust to her new life, something tragic happened. Her hair began to fall out. It turns out that working around the harsh chemicals used for washing clothes was taking its toll on her scalp, so she asked her barber brothers what she needed to do to keep her hair. They began taking care of her hair and teaching her about various cosmetic routines. Learning about beauty interested her so much that she applied to be a saleswoman for beauty products at the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis. After being hired, she was instantly successful, surpassing her sales quotas and acquiring new customers. She quickly developed a reputation for being one of the most charismatic salespeople in the city, and word got out to an advertiser by the name of Charles Walker, who just had to meet her. It was love at first sight, and in no time at all, the two got married. Together they dreamed about taking the world by storm, striking it rich, and building a mansion. Then those dreams became goals, and the couple developed a foolproof plan to achieve those goals. With Sarah's knowledge of beauty products and Charles' success in marketing, they rebranded Sarah as Madam C.J. Walker and began selling their own beauty products across the country. They traveled by train, city to city, doing live demonstrations of their products and listing women as sales agents to go out into their own communities and continue live demonstrations to sell their beauty products. Now with sales agents in every major US city, the money started to roll in. Against all odds, Sarah had become the first self-made female millionaire in the history of the United States. With her fortune, she purchased a townhouse in New York City's Harlem and began planning a proper vacation house. She wanted to have a big impact in her community and inspire others to achieve their dreams. And what better way to do that than to build a place for her community to come together and share uplifting ideas? She hired New York's first registered African-American architect, Vertner Woodson Tanty, to design for her the 20,000 square foot estate which would be named Villa Luero. The palatial estate was planned to boast symmetrical sections with large stone columns composing grand porticos. Perfectly manicured gardens stretched from elaborate terraces ornamented with stone balustrade and potted tropical plants. When the house was finished, she invited her employees to celebrate with her by hosting a ball with a feast prepared by chefs and live music ringing through the halls. The interior was every bit as spectacular as the exterior, with custom-designed furniture decorating the stair hall. Each archway had been carved from stone and set below a gilded, coffered ceiling. The music room was finished out with painted wood panels separated by gilded pilasters with rounded windows and built-in set in intervals on the walls. In the center of the room, suspended from the ceiling, was an electric crystal chandelier glittering amongst gold accents. Music was very important in this house, with not only a grand piano elegantly placed in front of the window, but also a pipe organ at the opposite end of this room. The drawing room was every bit as elaborate, with a floor-to-ceiling marble fireplace boasting intricate relief work in its upper mantel. Soaring above antique Persian rugs, the coffered ceiling was hand-stenciled, mirroring the floral motif below it. The dining room boasted antique furniture centered on French doors opening out to the terrace, and the barrel-vaulted ceiling contained hand stenciling between its ribs. Unfortunately, Sarah did not get to enjoy Villa Luero for long. Just 1 year after its completion, her kidneys began to fail, and in 1919 she passed away. Her daughter inherited her company, with 2/3 of her wealth being donated to charities. Alela continued to live at Villa Luero until her death in 1931, when she donated the house to the NAACP. Unfortunately, the timing just did not work out. Following the Great Depression, the NAACP was not able to afford the estate's incredibly expensive maintenance, so the organization made the tough decision to sell the home. The house went on to be used by several other charitable organizations, until it was purchased in the 1980s by a developer who had plans to demolish it and replace Villa Luero with cookie-cutter housing. Thankfully, those plans fell through. In 1993, Harold Doley purchased Villa Luero and began extensive restoration work to restore the house to its original condition. Upon completion of the restoration work in 2014, the house was named a National Treasure by the U.S. National Trust for Historic Preservation. Ideas were tossed around about opening the house as a house museum. However, Harold Doley eventually ended up selling the villa to the New Voices Foundation, who used it as Sarah had originally intended, as a think tank for African American women to collaborate on their entrepreneurial endeavors. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments section. If you've been subscribed for a while, you might recall that I featured Villa Luero in a previous video. This is the third of 5 remakes I'm doing from the time period following my car accident. I'll be spacing these remakes out so that we can still discover stunning homes together. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you never miss an exciting episode of This House.